bringing news from a different page. Truth served hot and bold and strong. Every week we sing along. Red, white, and true will stand tall. Echo the call loudest of all. With hearts of faith and liberty, together we find unity. Stories that make you think and pray. A light awaits at the end of day. Guided by the stars and stripes, through the stormiest of nights. Red, white, and true will stand tall. Echo the call loudest of all. With hearts of faith and liberty, together we find unity. When the world feels like a fight, hold your ground, stand for what's right. In the truth we'll find our way. Ed and Ronnie light the way. Red, white, and true we'll stand tall. Echo the call loudest of all. With hearts of faith and liberty, together we find unity. Red, white, and true will stand tall. Echo the call loudest of all. With hearts of faith and liberty, together we find unity. Together we find unity.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Red, White, and True with Ed and Ronnie, and the show starts right now.
Well, here we are once again. It must be Tuesday night at about 7 o'clock.
1900.
There you go. So we got a lot to cover tonight. We're going to have some fun. We're going to be serious. We got a lot of different topics to look about. What do you think about tonight, Ronnie?
It's we got a lot to cover there for a little bit. I was thinking, what are we going to talk about? And then the news happened. So
yeah, we got. I think we got plenty on the agenda.
yeah.
So, I hate to jump right in with stuff because we kind of got to let people get in here, and so I'm raring to go tonight for some reason.
Yeah.
I'm just
Me too.
lot to talk about, and so last week we asked. I don't know how we did it last week, but we mentioned that there was something different about our setup, and nobody answered.
Nobody
So
caught it.
we'll throw it out again this week. Is there anything about our setup that seems a little on the different side? Ronnie knows.
I do.
I know.
I know.
Ashley knows.
Yeah.
we'll see if anybody else knows or if anybody else is even listening at this point. Good to see Beth in there. Man, she's going on vacation soon. And
What? Not taking me. I don't like that.
well, Cindy is asking, do you guys not do prayer and share anymore? We do. It is on Friday nights, Cindy. Friday nights at 7 is Amy and I. On Tuesday, you're stuck with Ronnie and I.
Yep.
And that's different than what was in the past. I know you were used to Tuesdays and Thursdays in the past. We're now Tuesdays and Fridays, and Tuesday is Red, White, and True with Ed and Ronnie. And so
That's right.
Here we are. The good, the bad, and the good and the bad.
And the ugly. Well, how was your Cinco de Mayo yesterday?
Well, I'm thinking I had an okay day. I don't know that it had anything to do with Cinco de Mayo, but
We had some fajitas and chips and cheese over here.
yeah,
I do know of one person who had a really crappy Cinco de Mayo.
Who's that?
Well, watch.
Stupid game with my big black boots and an old suitcase. Do believe I'll find myself a new place.
Poor guy gets to enjoy Cinco de Mayo in his home country.
Yeah, there you go. There is breaking news right now. Beth
She
got
caught it.
She caught it.
She
would, because she's been in this house. Well, I mean, I've been in it every day for 4 years, so that gives me, but other than Amy and I, she's probably been in this house maybe as much as you have.
Yeah.
She used to hang out here in high school, and so she would notice. She hangs out here a couple times a week now too. Well, let me get over to my media assets. And let's just start off with our Reagan funny.
Yes. Yes.
This is why people consider Reagan to be one of the greatest of all time.
An evangelical minister and a politician arrived at Heaven's Gate one day together. And St. Peter, after doing all the necessary formalities, took them in hand to show them where their quarters would be. And he took them to a small single room with a bed, a chair, and a table, and said this was for the clergyman. The politician was a little worried about what might be in store for him, and he couldn't believe it then when St. Peter stopped in front of a beautiful mansion with lovely grounds, many servants, and told him that these would be his quarters. And he couldn't help but ask. He said, but wait, how do I get this mansion while that good and holy man only gets a single room? And St. Peter said, you have to understand how things are up here. We got thousands and thousands of clergy. You're the first politician who ever made it.
Oh, oh,
Great.
yeah, that's the Gipper. Oh, Cindy
Awesome.
rubs it in. She's headed to Texas Roadhouse for dinner.
Sounds
I
so
just-
good.
I just finished leftovers personally. I'm not sure.
We just had some delicious pork chops and potatoes and some mac and cheese.
My leftovers were okay. Well, we've given it some time. What do you got first for us tonight?
Well, I've got a couple things here. We can go to something that kind of upset me a little bit. This is Shifty Adam Schiff talking about taking our guns away.
Today I will be introducing the assault weapons ban of 2025, a bill that would ban the sale, manufacture, import, and transfer of military-style assault weapons. Since 2006, there have been 486 mass shootings involving assault weapons. Hundreds and hundreds of Americans have been killed in these mass shootings. This bill is a way to attack that massive threat to our safety and security.
But I'll listen to Adam Schiff when he pays back the $32 million he cost the government over the one Trump impeachment. So until then, I'm lying. I wouldn't listen to him even if he pays back $32 million. There you go. Caught me in a lie. It's on tape, and that's just the way it is. And he's so serious.
The fact check is the fact is AR-15s were only used in 11 mass shootings, and so whatever, let him try. Go right ahead, buddy.
Not over 450 times.
Yeah, no. Fact checked by USA Today. It's only been used in 11.
450. Yeah, pretty close.
Yeah.
Crazy. And
so
I seen one on Schiff earlier. Also seen some Chuck Schumer that I don't think I saved any of them. We could come on here every single week and give quotes from the past or videos from the past that these guys do, that it's like flipping a coin. Let's see who's in office. Oh, it's the Republicans. Hey, we got to take this view. Same exact topic. 4 years later, flip a coin. Oh, we're against that. We might have been for it 4 years ago, but we're against it now just because it's 4 years later. Nothing changed to the topic. There's no new information. It's just, and that's the way liberals are. I'm
always
also a little on the getting really tired of double standards. And I know that's an easy thing to say, but where I'm coming from is I'm really tired of the double standards when it comes from people who I know are good Christian people and have all of a sudden decided to take the left side of the story instead of the right side of the story. And they talk vitriol against Trump and MAGA and so-called Christians that follow them.
Yeah.
And I'm about sick to death of that. I mean, I've got one friend and I don't want to unfriend him. I mean, he's been a friend for 20 years. But the thing is, I mean, when he says his stuff, he's talking to me. I mean, he might as well be calling me out. And I'm thinking, he's big into the taking care of the poor. And I understand that. I think the poor need help.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt about it. But when you look at that issue, that's combined with immigration. I mean, you can't untie the two. When liberals are talking about the poor, they're talking about illegal immigrants, no doubt in my mind. And when they do that, they put those two together and they think if you're against illegal immigration,
you're against the poor.
Then you're against the poor. And nothing is further from the truth.
Yeah.
And I pray about this regularly. When he has 2 or 3 posts a day, usually. And, you might say, just scroll on past. And I don't have that discipline yet to be able to scroll on past. But
I don't either. I've gotten into it with a few people on Columbus Man lately.
And if I address him, I would probably do it in private message. I'd probably never do that on his page. I'm a firm believer when it comes to social media on somebody's own personal page. I'm not going to argue with them. That's their page. They can have their views, no matter how wrong they are. And
sorry, that was great. They can have their views no matter how wrong they are.
well, I mean, that's the truth.
It's true.
And
It's true. That was amazing. I love it.
And as I go back, I want to see if I thought I had, no, I didn't save it. Let's, before the blood pressures go in
Too high?
Yeah, too high in the wrong direction. Let's look at something very, very, very uplifting.
How are you? Pleasure to meet you.
And who are you?
Mike Yastrzemski.
Mike, yes, sir. Oh, my God. I was in love with your dad.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes.
Well, it's an honor to meet you. I appreciate everything you've done. So you're gonna throw a strike for him or what?
Oh, hell. I don't know if I'll get the ball over to you.
I'll make it look good. How's that sound?
It doesn't take much to make me look better. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
I've been to Europe 6 times in the past 5 years.
What?
I'm going again in June.
Come on. You know how many times I've been to Europe?
0?
0. I got to get over there, huh?
I'm a hero over there.
Well, you're a hero here too. Come on.
Oh, I don't think I even deserve this.
Oh, of course you do. This will be fun. It'll be great.
I hope I don't flub up.
Today, Ronnie May is a TikTok star, sharing his experiences as a soldier. And catching for Papa Jake is the Giants military player captain, Mike Yastrzemski.
There's the line. Don't step on the line. Perfect. All right, you see Mike over there? You see him?
See him right there?
Right there?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You got it.
That was perfect.
You saved me again, Mike.
Absolutely not.
Thank you.
Here, I'll sign it for you real quick.
All right.
Thank you so much, Mike.
Oh, thank you guys.
Appreciate
That was an honor.
It's great to have another Yastrzemski out there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Picture of that, Ron.
Thank you.
Wow.
102 years old. If you put things together, he's going back in June. That's when the invasion of Normandy was. And so interesting that way he phrased, I'm a hero over there. And the young ball player, Mike Yastrzemski, who is the grandson of Carl Yastrzemski, who was a big time player in the 60s and the 70s. He made sure he knew that he's a big deal here too. 102 years old, throwing out the first pitch at a baseball game.
That's really cool.
So now my blood pressure has gone down just a little bit. So go ahead, Ronnie, make it go back up.
Well, I can make it go back up, or I can make it go back down. I got a couple of different ways here.
It's on you.
All right, let's go back to the former vice president, who is known for her word salads. This is her first major speech since losing the election last year, and it makes no sense, but that's what you come to expect from Kamala Harris.
Who saw that video from a couple of weeks ago? The one of the elephants at the San Diego Zoo during the earthquake? Google it if you've not seen it. So that scene has been on my mind. Everybody's asking me, what you've been thinking about these days? Well, so in the video, for those who haven't seen it, here those elephants were. And as soon as they felt the earth shaking beneath their feet, they got in a circle and stood next to each other to protect the most vulnerable. Think about it. What a powerful metaphor. Because we know those who try to incite fear are most effective when they divide and conquer, when they separate the herd, when they try to make everyone think they are alone. But in the face of crisis, the lesson is don't scatter.
In the face of crisis, the message is don't scatter.
And there is her white guy code talker.
Old Tampon Tim.
Tampon Tim. Here's another one that goes right with that. Kamala picked me because I'm someone average white guys could relate to. And average white guys don't want to on the bathroom.
Yeah.
So
did I tell you that when I worked for 5-Star that we serviced in IUPUC here in town, and that there was literally tampons and pads in the men's bathroom?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I actually took a picture of it on WhatsApp, but there was literally tampons and pads in the men's restroom here in town. So,
well, I find it ironic that you played that video, and let's just go right. Did you get the second part of the congressperson from Texas that I said?
Yes,
I couldn't get? Okay, I'll play the first part. You play the second part.
I'll get it all set up.
There are going to be people that tell you that you don't belong, and I am here to tell you over and over and over that you absolutely belong. There are people that are going to tell you that there is not a table in which there is a seat for you, but I am here to remind you of Montgomery and those folding chairs. Let me tell you that we know how to use a chair, whether we pulling it up or we doing something else with it. Let me be the first one to tell you that I know that y'all are ready to put your boots on the ground. That's your cue. There we go. Hey!
You ready? Where them fans at? Where them fans at?
No, you got to notice where she said using the chair.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the big part. So here's what she was talking about, Montgomery and using the chairs and.
This new video shows other men coming to Pickett's aid as the altercation escalates. The unfolding fight, largely along racial lines, fueling questions about possible hate crime charges. Though the chief says there's currently no evidence that would meet the FBI standard for that. There was no stone
Stop. There we go.
So my question is,
using chairs.
Who would get the hate crimes? It was blacks and whites together. It was a black man that had the chair, because we know that the congresswoman that President Trump has a very low IQ. She told us that. So
yes,
she's proud that blacks can throw down with a chair.
Yeah. Do better, Texas. Come on now. That's inciting violence. That's inciting, people to hurt each other. You're an elected congressperson who's, you would think, would have a higher IQ than that of a tree stump, but apparently not. So
you would think, and your mom says that woman is pathetic. I'm not sure which woman that she's talking about, because we just had back-to-back Kamala Harris and the honorable.
Well, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. I mean, you can't go wrong in talking about either one of those two and if they're pathetic or not. So
yeah, that's always a good thing when you say that, and it could apply to many different things.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
I guess the whole issue with this woman, first of all, she's a freshman congressman, and everybody starts somewhere. I don't have anything against her about being a freshman congresswoman, but she's still in diapers, basically, when it comes to governing. And she's come in as a troublemaker. She's come in as the part of the party that wants to use cursing as an enhancement. Dropping F-bomb, maybe not her, but the party dropping F-bombs, just like it's saying.
She has. I've got videos of it. One time, a reporter asked her, "What would you say to Donald Trump?" And "F-you" was the first thing she said.
Well, and we look, and I saw a story about an 18-year-old who is the head of Young Republicans somewhere. But he's met with Trump 5 different times, gave him advice during the campaign. And the question was, in this story I read about, was the future of the Democratic Party. And this 18-year-old said, "Oh, if it's AOC, Bernie Sanders, Jasmine Crockett, oh man, please, please, please let that happen." And when you think about it, that's what they have to offer right now.
Yeah. At least it's not like the video last week that I showed the woman who was saying the head of the Democratic Party is Zelensky.
Well, that's true. Might as well be. If those three and Zelensky were on the list, I'm not sure who qualifies the most. Just saying.
I just don't understand where they're going with all this. This is just getting to be absolutely ridiculous. They stand there and scream about how immoral Trump is, and I believe I've got a video of that. But Jasmine Crockett dropping the F-bomb every other word, that's perfectly fine. And her inciting violence and the use of force with a metal chair, perfectly fine. That's moral. That's good to go. But because Donald Trump may or may not have said something 10 years ago, he's immoral.
See, that's where I'm going with the so sick and tired of listening to the liberal, quote, liberal Christians that are out there. And here's the deal. If you're supporting those things, you're supporting her.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
And I don't see how my liberal Christian friends, and I know that's to some people an oxymoron, but I don't see how they can be concerned about the poor and in the same breath support the party that has to do with that woman right there.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
The Democrats didn't used to be this way. My grandparents on my dad's side were Democrat, very, very Democrat. They worked for the Democrat Party. And everybody's like, well, why did you fall so far from the tree? Well, here's the thing. Back then, the Democrats were for the poor man, the little man, the working man. They've gone through so many of evolutions since inception of the Democratic Party, which a lot of people don't know, but the Democratic Party created the Ku Klux Klan. They were the ones that, wanted segregation. They were the ones that didn't allow black men to vote in the South after the Civil War. And, and then they became the party of the working man. And then now they've just gone completely off the rails and make no sense. It's a shame that they're gone.
The putting it in overdrive came when Trump was elected the first time, or actually as Trump ran the first time. And so, and it's been in overdrive. That would have been 2015 that he started running. So
yeah,
10 years solid of MAGA hate, Trump. They don't say this in Orange Man bad and the
division and everything they've been pushing.
We say this probably every week on Tuesday, probably about this time, about 7:27, that it doesn't matter what Trump does, what Trump says, they're going to be 100% opposite. If tariffs all of a sudden caused no income tax on our paychecks, then they would be against it for some reason.
Absolutely.
And well, as we talk about those who are, possibly running the Democrat Party, let's look at this.
Donald Trump is a criminal who was found guilty of 34 felony counts of fraud.
Did I just play that? Here, well, if you didn't get it the first time, let's do it again.
Donald Trump is a criminal who was found guilty of 34 felony counts of fraud.
Her IQ. They did is I should bite her communist ass. That's great. Wow, you broke me. I'm sorry.
Just, they offer the material. It'd almost be unthinkable if we didn't use it when they
That's
offer.
Great. The fleas have higher IQ than she does.
Who wins the debate?
I'm guessing the dog.
Well, I'm going to say, for the people that can get into the comments right now, if you're listening, was AOC the winner or MAGA the dog the winner? Go ahead. We'll share. And not just, put a funny comment in with it too. I'll agitate tonight. Sees how they got me all worked up to start with.
Oh, Lord.
It's on now. It's on.
That's awesome. Well, do you want to keep laughing?
Sure, let's keep laughing.
So here's the thing. Sometimes you got to laugh at yourself sometimes, and it's funny. This is a Saturday Night Live clip. You know how ultra liberal they are, but I thought it was hilarious. They kind of poked fun at Donald Trump and all his executive orders.
All right, sir. This order would reduce the number of interracial couples in TV commercials.
It's just too many, right? You see them in the kitchen together making meal from HelloFresh. He's wearing loafers. She's got tight braids. You're like, where'd they meet, What do they even talk about? It's insane.
Well done, sir. Sir, this order will make it socially acceptable for a man in his 70s to date a 24-year-old.
That's right. We're calling it the Belichick Law. We're going to make girlfriends young again, okay? Old men can now date far younger women. We like that. It's hot. But in reverse, it's quite disgusting, right? Very Dateline, Did you see Belichick's girlfriend? She's pretty hot, right?
Yes, she is a beautiful creature.
God, you're creepy. This is why we don't hang out outside of work.
Understood, sir. Next is a pardon for author J.K. Rowling.
Ah, Jackie Rowling. We love Jackie. You know, she created a whole wizarding world, a wonderful place for overweight millennials to stake their entire identity well past the point of it being cute. I'm a Hufflepuff. No, bitch, you work at Staples. I'm rolling. Let's keep it moving. Let's go.
Sir, you asked Marco Rubio to join you for this next one?
Yeah, where's Marco? Get him out here. Come on in, little Marco. You're going to love this. Yes, sir. Oh, wow. Yes, this order, I believe, forbids all Hispanic babies from getting their ears pierced. I believe this was Marco's idea.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
Sorry, little Maricela. Sorry, Valentina. It's clip-ons for you from now on, all right? I mean, we got grown white American tweens trying to get into Claire's, and they got to wait behind 1,000 tiny Latina babies to get their ears pierced. It's no bueno, right, Marco?
Si, sir.
Okay. We'll see him later. Moving on.
Sir, this order will make the New York Times Connections game easier.
And it's about time. Every time it's like, how the hell was I going to get that fourth one? You know, the purple one? Oh, it's always like units of measurement plus the letter Q, or types of beans minus the concept of love. What the hell does any of that mean?
That guy does a pretty good Trump voice.
He does. And the other guy that's handing him the executive orders actually does a pretty good imitation of that guy, too.
Absolutely. But it's nice to sometimes poke fun at yourselves. And, you know, Donald Trump went on his signing spree and all that. But so I just thought that was a little funny. So.
Well, we're about halfway into what we normally take up for time. Who knows? We could be a little long. You never know. We
never know.
But let's see what I have got here. Let's take a short break.
We're taking a short break, but don't go anywhere. Ed and Ronnie will be right back in just a few seconds. Thank you so much for supporting Red, White, and True. Did you know that your interactions with us on social media are vital to making sure that we continue to grow our audience? Please follow us on all major social media platforms, especially our Facebook page, so we can continue to share Christ through current events and more here on this live stream. Okay, just a little bit longer to make sure that you go grab your coffee, soda, or whatever you want, so we can continue with today's live stream. All right? Are you ready? Here we go. Here again, our Ed and Ronnie.
All right. Well, while we're taking a break, I wanted to read something. Want to let you know about a new biblical cartoon series. It's now available on the Angel app. And if you don't have the Angel app, it seems to be coming up quite frequently that they are doing things that are pretty awesome. You may remember, some of you, that quite a while ago, I interviewed Butch Hartman, who is the creator of the Nickelodeon animated series, The Fairly Odd Parents. Butch is a great Christian man, and he now has that new animated series on the Angel app. We'll be sharing more in the near future, but in the meantime, go to the Angel app, Angel Studios, and check out a few of those episodes. Each one is based on biblical themes and delivers messages crafted to be easily understood by young viewers, called The Garden. And
wow,
Ronnie, take over for a second here. I'm getting some weird error messages, and I want to make sure that everything's working.
Well, you get that figured out, and I'll run with Canada and their new prime minister. Yet again, another ultra liberal, and I don't have the exact what's laid out, but this gentleman is talking about it and going over it, and I've seen it on several different things. And boy, Canada's they're in for a whopper.
Did you hear what Canada's Prime Minister just announced? Mark Carney, which is Canada's newly elected Prime Minister, had these things to announce as they are going to be enforcing these new policies and new regulations for all Canadians. Effective June the 1st, all vehicles that were manufactured before the year 2000 will be phased out due to Canadian road safety and safety emissions. So for everybody that has a vehicle that is older than the year 2000, what are they going to do if they can't afford a new vehicle? But that's not all. He's also going to crack down on non-compliant window tints, especially in the rear windows that are now prohibited. And he's going to give Canadians 14 days to make sure that their windows are under compliance. If you're not going to remove the tint, you'll have to install brand new windows in your vehicle. Any trucks, sorry, this is just laughable. Every truck that is lifted more than its original lift from the manufacturer will have to remove that lift system and bring it back to quote unquote code for safety purposes. Because nobody is safe around a lifted truck, apparently. Freedom of speech, you could say bye to that, because he's also going to be cracking down on speech that is online that may be offensive or hateful. And he allegedly will bring law enforcement into this, and they will be working with social media platforms so that they can prosecute such speech online. So be careful if you say the wrong thing in Canada, because you might end up behind bars. He's also going to be cracking down on those laws in Canada, because apparently Canada doesn't need to defend themselves and they have too many pew-pews on the street. And one of his final, most heroic missions, he wants to continue to push forward DEI. And if it doesn't sound familiar, this is the exact same regime. These are the exact same steps that we would have been experiencing had Kamala been elected.
Just more craziness out of Canada. Can you believe that? Lifted trucks, big deal. Craziness, just absolute craziness. But that's what they signed up for. Like he said, it's exactly what we would be going through had Kamala been elected. Exactly.
Well, just so that you know, all of our Facebook feeds have gone down.
Really?
Right now, X is where people can find us, and I'm going to put that out a couple of places.
Well, I wonder what happened.
Well,
they probably some rule or something.
I'm going to guess that was probably it. We must have said one of the words that they catch and decide to do things to. So I don't know.
Anything offensive?
They won't tell us that's what happened, but
of course not.
Go ahead and do something that maybe is not something that we want to make sure everybody is able to see. I'm trying to get a message out that we are on X, but
let's watch some Caroline Levitt then. Is that what you're looking for?
Sure.
Okay.
This is my office. I have obviously photos of myself with the president. You also have a picture of me, and that's my baby, my 9-month-old son. That was from our senior staff swearing in ceremony. And then this picture here is from my first briefing. This is my fun little cork board. This is a 7th grade class from Georgia who came to visit. Their dad is one of my colleagues here in the White House, and they asked if I could go speak to the students, and they wrote me and sign this cute little thing. Another picture of my baby on his first Air Force One flight. And then this is a meme that I love. It's a man pointing at a brain and it says, "No thanks, I won't be needing that because I believe everything the legacy media shows." So look, we want critical thinking around here.
You started out as a White House intern during Trump's first term. What is it like now being back and being the White House press secretary for him?
It's crazy. I mean, it has totally come completely full circle. Every day when I come into work, I try to remember what a blessing it is to work in this building and to remember the policies we're implementing are truly impacting so many lives.
He couldn't have, that may be his best pick of all of the appointments and people of that nature. She's amazing. And while we're on that topic, let's go ahead and do the MAGA Minute.
MAGA Minute. Yes.
Was another incredibly busy week for President Trump and the entire administration. Let's get to it for the MAGA Minute. IBM, Merck, Mercedes-Benz, Walmart, Bell, Pratt Industries, and many others announced they'd be joining the long list of companies reaffirming support for American-made projects and investing in our economy. The president hosted the Super Bowl champions, the Philadelphia Eagles, at the White House. The president also participated in a National Day of Prayer event, and he signed a landmark rare earth minerals agreement with Ukraine, thereby ensuring U.S. access to critical natural resources while also advancing peace negotiations. The First Lady's historic Take It Down Act passed in Congress, soon to go to the president's desk, and the president signed a proclamation incentivizing domestic automobile production. President Trump also signed an executive order to keep American families safe on the road by ensuring everyone behind the wheel of a commercial vehicle is properly qualified and proficient in the English language. The president also signed an executive order to identify and combat sanctuary cities who are sheltering illegal migrant criminals so we can hold them accountable. He signed an executive order ending the taxpayer subsidization of the left-wing NPR and PBS. Vice President Vance traveled to Nucor Steel in South Carolina, and the president delivered remarks at the University of Alabama 2025 commencement ceremony. And finally, Americans experienced the second month in a row where the jobs report beat expectations. We added 177,000 jobs to the economy, with wages rising and labor force participation increasing, all thanks to President Trump. And we'll see you for next week's MAGA Minute.
It's all great news right there. All great news. Love it.
You know, the investment that's taken place, you know, that's not things that show up on the bottom line today.
No.
It may take until he is out of office or even a few years past that, but that's all setting things up for a good future. And, you know,
Absolutely.
To me, that's leadership, not just looking for what you can get out of it today, but I mean, we seriously as a country have got to look at what's going to happen to our grandkids and their families after that. And that is a very, very, very good thing. And all of a sudden, our X numbers have gone way up. And so I don't know if our regular listeners are into X all of a sudden, or if it's new people, but welcome to Red, White, and True with Ed and Ronnie. We are so glad that you're here with us. The reason I'm talking the way I am, we were simultaneously live streaming to several Facebook pages, as well as a YouTube channel and X. And all of a sudden, our Facebook feeds went away. And no explanation. And I'm not sure if we said the magic word or magic topic or what we did, but we're glad that you're here with us right now. And if you're one of our regulars, would you throw in the comments there on X that you found your way? And if you're not one of our regulars, say hi and where you're from. We'd love to hear from all of you.
Absolutely.
You know, you've not had to be part of this too many times. You've got minor experience of it, but there are certain times that Satan just doesn't want us to get the message out. And usually when that's the case, we have to pray and rebuke Satan that it's not his place here. and that in the name of Jesus, we rebuke anything that is hindering us from doing what the Lord would have us to do. And so, man, the X numbers just keep going up dramatically. My guess is that our good friend Trevor has probably promoted something somewhere, and
well, thank you, Trevor.
And I don't know that for sure, but he is Johnny on the spot, and we certainly appreciate all that he does. Let's look back at. Well, we'll start out with President Trump, and most people probably seen this clip, but then follow that up with kind of the same topic with Barack Hussein Obama.
Trump versus Obama.
And above all else, we know this in America, we don't worship government, we worship God. But a savior, which is Christ the Lord. And our country needs a savior right now, and our country has a savior. And that's not me. That's somebody much higher up than me. But the life and death and resurrection of Jesus Christ forever changed the world. But none of this could have ever happened without Jesus Christ. And we have to remember that Jesus Christ is the ultimate source of our strength and of our hope.
Whose Christianity would we teach in the schools? Would it be James Dobson's or Al Sharp's? Which passages of Scripture should guide our public policy? Should we go with Leviticus, which suggests slavery is okay, and that eating shellfish is an abomination? Or we could go with Deuteronomy, which suggests stoning your child if he strays from the faith? Or should we just stick to the Sermon on the Mount, a passage that is so radical that it's doubtful that our own Defense Department would survive its application?
Wow.
Now, I want to remind people that Barack Hussein Obama claimed to be a Christian. That's what he said. I think that most of us would buy that, well, I think he liked Islam better than he did Christianity. But
there was several examples of that in his history as president.
You mean like bowing down to a king?
Yep. Having Muslim prayer rugs in place of the American flag.
Yeah. Lots of things. And he's making fun of Christianity there. I mean, you can't take that any other way. But when he is saying, what did he say? James Dobson versus Al Sharpton. Well, those are they both consider them Christian ministries. I don't know that James Dobson is a pastor, but he's run Focus on the Family for decades. You know, he's actually at the point where he's retired. And so when you think about his Muslim background, he being Obama, is he putting down Sharpton and James Dobson? Or I don't know if I follow. I don't know that I follow what. Yeah, well, I know I don't follow what he's done. And then there is a response to what's going on in the country with this.
I've never seen such hate in a country like America, the way they hate only one man. Americans have been spoiled, and they think that the more they make noise, the more they get things done. To get things done calls for what? Pragmatic assessment on how you're going to get things done. Not this wasting of time and just protesting somebody who loves his country. In my life, I've never seen such hate in a country like America, the way they hate only one man. How is that possible? How can you hate one man just because he loves his country? What is this?
What up?
I travel all the way from Africa to come to this country legally to make sure the American dream is realized by me. My kids are born here, so I have
Do you mind sharing your name?
My name is Faith.
Faze, spell that.
Yes,
F-A-Z?
F-A-Y-Z.
F-A-Y-Z. Make sure you guys share this and tag people who need to hear this message and make sure this guy goes famous.
So how does the Democrats deal with that? The man is black from Africa, and he is slamming the liberals right there. I mean, boom.
I had a neighbor that lived above me. He was black and from Africa, served in Chad. Their military, served in the United States military, and he hated liberals. He hated immigrants, illegal immigrants, not legal ones. So I've seen that kind of stuff before. He craziness.
Well, looks like you've got several left to go. When I come back, I've got some thoughts on the controversy of the picture of Donald Trump in a Pope outfit.
Oh, boy.
That's what I'll do when I get back. You go ahead and take it here for a while.
All right. Well, we got our Kennedy of the week, since we haven't done that one yet. So here we go.
My mama didn't raise a fool, and if she did, it was one of my brothers. I'm not buying that. I've got a lot of friends who are Democrats, and they haven't asked me for advice, but if I did, I'd tell them, look, you just got to try harder not to suck. That's why Democrats are polling right up there with scalp psoriasis. That's one person's opinion. I may be wrong, but I doubt it. Clear to Mr. Putin that we are willing to turn him and his country into fish food. My personal opinion is that God gave her a billy goat brain and a mockingbird mouth. Most members of the media were saying that civilization is going to melt and that we're all going to be living in a refrigerator box behind Outback. I would rather watch reruns of The View for the rest of eternity than to listen to some of my Democratic colleagues. I believe in the power of ideas, and my Democratic colleagues have no ideas. All they have is hatred for one man, even when he's right.
Love him. Gotta love him.
Makes your eyes go, wow. I was talking to your mom. We have discussions about things like this. I'd played one of his videos, and I looked at her and said, I think he sits around and practices what he I mean, how does that many zingers just pop off the top of his head?
He's great.
He is great. Go ahead with a couple more. And,
got some liberal Looney Tunes we can do.
You ruined us. You have ruined the United States. You've ruined us. We will not recover. Oh, God, we will never recover because of your stupidity. Stupidity.
Ma'am, I hope you have a great day again.
You guys prefer free college or free abortions?
Abortion.
Free abortions?
Yeah.
In what age do you think most trans kids determine that they're trans?
Violet told us when she was 1.5. She's been telling us since she could speak.
I hear a lot of we're not going back. What are we not going back to? The kitchen.
What is your biggest fear in 2025?
People not understanding the difference between lies and truth.
What is a woman?
Does it really matter?
So could I be a woman if I wanted to be?
Yes.
Okay, quickly, so I misunderstand. Are we saying that 2 + 2, if you say it's 4, that's racist? I mean, that sounds like we may be mischaracterizing it. What, if you can quickly sum it up?
No, that's not mischaracterizing it at all. Math is basically racist under this ideology because it says there is no such thing as an objective reality. So 4 might not be the right number. 2 + 2 might actually.
Holy cow.
Liberal Looney Tunes.
So the host there on that very last one was like, well, this probably sounds ridiculous. And then the chick's like, no, it's not ridiculous. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
my goodness. Well,
God bless them.
This past weekend, something to that nature, there was a meme that was put out, or it was an AI generated picture that was put out. I should, it'll be in the video that I show in just a second. But it was a very well done AI picture of Trump being the Pope. And that was sent out by Trump on his Truth Social. It was also shared with the official White House account as well. I heard Trump address that yesterday when he was announcing the big deal of Washington, D.C. getting a new football stadium, and the fact that Washington, D.C. was going to host the NFL draft in 2027, I think it is. Of course, reporters never want to stay on topic, and so the Pope picture got brought up. And Trump said, people can't take a joke. Well, let me play this short video and then come back and speak a little bit more about the controversy.
Donald Trump is a criminal who was found guilty of 34.
Oops. Oh my.
Wrong one, but still funny.
Yeah. There it is. There.
Donald Trump is a criminal.
You know what? I think that I downloaded the Pope controversy as I think I mistitled it.
I've done that before.
So it was a video clip from a father. The video clip, the picture and all came from EWTN. By the way, I've got a request into EWTN to interview someone that can share with us what it is that actually takes place at the conclave as they're electing a new pope. This father, he wasn't extremely upset with the picture. He said he thought it was kind of juvenile, but he kind of said basically what Trump said, that it's a joke, and it was a poorly timed joke. And my thought on it is that I don't think our president needs to be putting those kinds of things out on his Truth Social, the White House account, and things like that. It gives the left things to jump on and pile on that they don't need any help with that. They really don't. They can do that plenty well enough on their own. I'm figuring if most Catholics aren't really upset about it, then why should the rest of us be upset? And I know there's some Catholics that are upset. I just wish he would be more presidential like he is. I'm not really, I just wish he wouldn't do stuff like that. Things that can offend people that are his supporters right now. I mean, he told in that press conference, or in the Oval Office, that he won the Catholic vote big, and he did. And I don't know, on that one, I think he's better than that. Ronnie?
I saw the picture. I wasn't a fan of it. I'm not Catholic. I don't believe in a pope or anything like that. But I wasn't offended by it. I just didn't think it was funny. I didn't think there was a necessary point to it. I wish he would have used better discretion. Frankly, I was a little disappointed in it. But no one's perfect, including Donald Trump. You know, everyone makes mistakes. Everyone's sinful. You know, take it as an L and move on, I guess. You know,
that's kind of where I am. Yeah. Can't go back and take it away.
Yeah.
Don't make it worse, or don't make it any more than what it really was. And, you know, I personally think that probably somebody that surely he's got somebody that does at least part of his social media posts.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the president of the United States. He doesn't have that much time to be able to do those things. I do think he does a lot of them himself, but you know, I think somebody thought it would be funny, and they I had my phone shut off, but my phone is connected to my computer and it wasn't shut off. So
did it pop up and say FBI or some surveillance fan or something?
Well, it was an out-of-state call.
Oh no. Didn't say Washington, D.C., did it?
No, it wasn't a 202 area code.
Good deal. All right, we're safe.
We're safe.
We'll live to fight another day.
Yeah, I mean, you know, at Facebook, well, it didn't say Facebook, you know, home office or anything like that. We reported you to the Pentagon Protection Agency. You're on file with them, by the way.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You know?
I'm sure.
Well, no, I've had an encounter with the Pentagon Protection Agency.
Really?
Didn't know it existed until they showed up in Washington, D.C. when I was there kind of leading a support for for an Army lieutenant who killed a terrorist and was charged with murder.
Oh my God.
And so back in the days of the Do the Right Thing podcast, a group of us from there went to DC to support Lieutenant Michael Bahena. And he actually was convicted and spent time in Leavenworth. And President Trump in the first term actually commuted his sentence, or he got him out of jail. I don't remember exactly which clemency or pardon. I'm not sure which one it was, but yeah, when we were there, it was colder than, oh man, it was cold. And DC's right on the Potomac. So, I mean, it's one of those deals where, you know, the cold there is different than the cold here in the Midwest. And so we're out on the street corner, and up come these two guys, and they asked for who was in charge, and that was me. They came up to me and said they were from the Pentagon Protection Agency. And I said, well, I don't know that you exist. Do you have something that tells me you're from the Pentagon Protection Agency? And they produced credentials, and I researched it a little bit later, and there actually is an organization, part of the Pentagon, that's the title for. So who knows? I've got a file apparently with them. They knew who I was. They knew that we were going to be there. And I'm thinking, well, of course, this was back right around 2010, somewhere around there. I'm thinking there's a whole lot worse people out there than a bunch of conservative Christians that are concerned about a American soldier that is on trial for killing a jihadi terrorist that had killed numerous troops a day or two before he got killed. Lieutenant Bahena was a platoon leader, and several of his troops were hurt and killed. And yeah, he got convicted of murder.
Wow. Wow.
Well, let's see. Let me look down and see what you
We
got.
run over a little bit tonight. 6 minutes.
Yeah. Well, we don't have to be tied in. Let's see what else. Let's see Donald Trump in a very serious mode, but a topic that we've actually talked about before.
If I own stock in something and I do a good job and the stock market goes up, I guess I'm profiting. But who really profits is somebody like Nancy Pelosi, who uses inside information. She worked for $175,000 a year, and that's at the high end, and she's worth $150, $200 million. Okay? You ought to look at Nancy Pelosi, and you ought to look at some of these politicians that are stone cold crooks. I was very wealthy when I came in. Being president, I probably cost me money if you really look.
There's no creature there.
So the president calling out Nancy Pelosi, that was a sit down interview on Meet the Depressed. Meet the Press.
Meet the Depressed. I love it.
So I don't know. The outro video that we'll play tonight is if people that know me really good about my sports support and sports team that I like will wonder why I am showing a UK basketball coach. But I think you'll be able to tell when the video goes on. You got anything else for tonight, Ronnie?
No, I don't really have anything else. It's been a good night.
Well, we didn't get into, and I meant to, but things just kind of got all screwy there with the Facebook issue. India and Pakistan are in a conflict right now, probably as we speak. Tensions are always high between those two nuclear capable countries. And something happened a few days ago, and I believe just a little bit before we were actually on air here, that India struck some places in Pakistan. It has to do with Kashmir, and that's one of those areas where multiple people claim that that's their area, and we'll keep an eye on that. I know that the president is going to be leaving soon on a trip to Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Qatar, I believe, those three countries. Today, when he was talking with the Canadian Prime Minister, and I know you showed a video on that was when I was trying to figure out what was going on with Facebook, so I'm not sure exactly what they discussed. During that sit down, Trump mentioned something that he's got a very, very big announcement that is coming up soon. So it's kind of like a teaser. Off the air, I'm going to tell you what I think that is. That way, when it gets here, if I'm right, you can pat me on the back and say, man, you guessed that one. And if I'm wrong, we don't ever have to talk about it again. And that way nobody knows that I'm wrong. Because Lord help me, I'm wrong plenty enough. Just ask your mom. I'm wrong. First statement is, I'm always right. I mean, this is her from her perspective. So she's saying Amy's always right. If you disagree with that, go back to number one. Amy's always right.
I can see it happening in her.
Yeah, that just kind of fits her, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, folks.
Yep.
A lot of good topics tonight. If you're listening right now, I will probably download this off of X and put it back onto Facebook and turn my nose at them and say, go ahead and take it off again if that's what you think you need to do. Say goodnight, Ronnie.
Well, good night, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. And like Ed said, this deal with India and Pakistan could get very hairy. So we may be back tomorrow. We may be back in 15 minutes. We'll stand by and we'll see. So everybody have a good night, and we will see you soon.
And until we do, go out and do the right thing.
We always say a team prayer before we come out to play, and Coach Brooks, Alvin Brooks, gave the prayer, and he talked about in his prayer he prayed that we could have confidence, but even more importantly that we could have Godfidence. I'd never heard Godfidence before, but I love it because that's just, there's a little bit of this team for me, and we're a pretty faithful team. There's a little bit of us that is we're kind of in some ways performing for an audience of one the best we can, and we're trying to take all the other noise and just kind of set it aside a little bit. And so when you see a game like this where for us this Godfidence was a real factor in this, it ranks pretty high. It's pretty special. And I told the guys before the game, like I said, there's no place I would have rather been tonight, and it was easy to double down on that after the game.